Hello. One of the questions I got this week was, isn't Tantra just an excuse for a sex orgy? And I was kind of sat with that question because I think that when people think about Tantra and they think about the idea of sexual energy or sex or sexuality, that it then our fears can kind of conjure up all these ideas of, isn't Tantra just an excuse for a sex orgy? Now, for me, there's nothing wrong with a sex orgy, but for me, in relationship to Tantra, is Tantra a sex orgy? The short answer is no. The longer answer, no. The longer answer I want to give you is that when you think of a sex orgy, it feels like to me that it's kind of those things that we don't want, kind of what I call unconscious sex. And it can feel a bit grabby, it can feel a bit desperate, it can feel about the need to satisfy what I call, it feels like a bit dark and a bit dirty and a bit seedy, and it just feels a bit like taking. And for me, I think that some of the fears that we might have about Tantra is that it could attract kind of that type of energy, that type of thing into the space. And the one thing I want to do is to reassure you that that's absolutely not the case. In my experience, I've been teaching Tantra for over 10 years, and I think the occasional time that somebody has come to Tantra with that kind of idea, they've actually not lasted very long. And the reason why they haven't lasted very long is because actually Tantra's about something else, about something quite different. For me, Tantra is a spiritual practice. So, for example, if you look at different spiritual disciplines or spiritual practices, like you've got plant medicine, like ayahuasca, for me, that's very much about using plants to achieve different states of consciousness and different states of awareness. If you look at Tibetan meditation, they're using silence. They're using silence to be in the bliss and again to achieve altered states of consciousness and awareness, what I kind of call the enlightened states. And then you've also have yoga, and they're achieving that through different postures and positions and energy. And for me, Tantra is doing exactly the same as other spiritual practices. In that it's using sexual energy as the vehicle to get there, as the vehicle to get to very, very profound, very, very, I lose words when I start talking about the profoundness of the peak experiences of consciousness and awareness. And the way I've described it before, if you, next time you're in sexual activity and you're at your orgasm and what I call the eye of the storm, the peak of your orgasm, that for me is the place where the enlightenment is, where the altered states are. And this for me is where other spiritual practices are doing the same things. So just in summary, I really get that if you were coming to Tantra, one of the fears that you might have is, isn't it just a sex orgy? And for me, as I said earlier, the short answer is no. It's a spiritual practice. But Tantra is not shy of sex and sexuality. We use that energy, but it's cultivated and nurtured and fed in very beautiful ways where you get to meet people in very deep and intimate ways. And that can be scary. That can be quite scary, meeting people in that way, because we don't typically meet people in that way on a day-to-day basis. Tantra for me creates the container to meet people in a very, very deep, very, very profound, stripped naked, literally, both physically, mentally, emotionally, physically. It strips you naked to a place of vulnerability. And in that vulnerability is the place of growth, is the place of change, is the place of a spiritual pathway. So I hope you've enjoyed that explanation that Tantra is not just a sex orgy, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Take care, thank you, bye bye. So thank you for watching my YouTube clip. If you enjoyed it, please like it, and if you'd like more, then do subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, leave them on a comment below and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Thank you.